Fucking private prisons. You weren't listening to a word I said on Thursday. You were just picking out little bits that you could go, oh, let's prod him on that. We'll prod him on that.
It wasn't a fucking conversation on Thursday, Graeme.
Oh, I know. It was for me. I was genuinely answering your question. And then, like, you're still there going, well, what about private? The whole point of government is that you consent to them taking violence off you.
No,
So
I genuinely wondered what you
prisons.
thought about these things.
Well, the only
Because
the
we've
only
never
way
spoken about it.
the only way for us to survive, like living this densely, living together the way we do, is without violence. So if you wrong me, the appropriate thing is not for me to then go and extract my revenge on you, seek justice. No, we give the government consent to that. So if you don't pay your TV license, there's a gun to your head. If you don't pay your council tax, there's a gun to your head. At some point, eventually, ultimately, if you refuse and refuse and refuse, or as what happened with Count Dankula, they didn't even give him the respect of doing that. They just went into his account and took that. So you are giving government violence, which is why they need to run the prisons, they need to run the police, they need to run the judiciary, which the three things that for some reason we don't seem to put any money in. And that's not even in terms of just like law and order and keeping the streets straight. No, it's actually making sure these things run properly and as fairly as possible, and getting everyone. I'm a big believer in public defenders, as people might call it, and everyone having decent representation that isn't overworked and is properly paid and all the rest of it. I think we should throw money at that by the fucking handful.
Couldn't agree more.
But then the issue with that is, because they have violence, because they have the gun, I am very, very nervous of anything else they then get involved in. If they say, I mean, for me, I see the NHS as something that, we can't consent to. If I refuse to pay for it, then eventually it will lead to a gun. Now, I'm okay with that. I understand that's just a thing. That's how we live. That's how we deal. I'm not outside protesting the NHS or whatever, but I get really, really worried when it's talked about as a right. You don't, because then you're looking at, if I'm ill, I don't necessarily have a right to healthcare. I think it's a good thing that I get it, and it's a good thing that we all make sure collectively that that's sorted out. And me and you can differ on the best way to go about that, but it's not a right, because the second it's a right for me to be treated, a doctor at some point down the line has got a gun to their head. And that's what I don't like. It's the risk of totalitarianism, the risk of authoritarianism on the left, right, center, or wherever. There's always that risk. You can't say that healthcare is a right, because you're then forcing someone to do something. You're taking that huge thing that the government has got, which is violence that they can write into law. They can do whatever the fuck they want and just write it into law. And I'm very, very uncomfortable with that. And it's a huge issue I've specifically with the NHS is this mass thing we have about this. Oh, it's the jewel of our system and that. And because people are so enamored by it, it gets away with paying poverty wages. And the thing is, you can't negotiate. It's like, no, this is what you get paid, and this is what we pay, and that's it. And then the government is making decisions about making GPs offices 7 days a week, or doctors working hours, and it's this. And already, that's when I have a huge issue with it, because it's just creeping into this authoritarian bullshit of like, you will work then, and it's like, no, that shouldn't be how it is, man. It should. I mean, not everyone can live the way me and you live, but people should be allowed to work when they want to work. It has to be consent. Do you know what I mean? It has to be something that they agree to do. Has he breathed in yet? No. Okay, I'll stop. Fine. Just the thing is, with Aiden, if I don't get my full point out, he'll jump in 3 words in and go, "You fucking commie Nazi," and then I don't get to say it, so I've just got to go. Fuck off. Fuck off, Happy Dog. Fuck off, all of you. I've thought about this a lot, man. And
I can tell.
It's something we have to deal with as a country. You can't put a gun to anyone's head and force them to do anything. You know, you can't force me to drive the desk on a Thursday. I consent to that. I choose to do that. I like doing it. And it's the same for any job. And yeah, you can bring in the thing of like people have got bills to pay, and that's true.
But a
But
doctor can refuse to treat a patient.
yes,
They
they
can.
can on an individual level.
Yeah.
But they can't. You know, they can't refuse work and go somewhere else. You know, it's one big system, isn't it? They can't just like I mean, well, it's weird, isn't it? Because GPs have got that sort of semi-private thing, which again isn't working properly because it's this thing. If it's going to be private, let it be private, but it's private with like controls. So like, you know, the example is my partner. My partner works in a hospital, and when we go to the doctor and they make a referral, they make a referral right on the other side of Manchester. And there's this thing of like, no, it's the system, you know, and that really concerns me that with these top down, you know, somebody completely disconnected from everything, making all these decisions. I think GPs, there's no reason GPs can't be private and sort of take, you know, a standard daily amount from the NHS or however the hell it's going to work for them. Do you
Like
know
dentists.
what I mean? Yeah, like dentists do. But they're then forced to work within that system, and it's like they're not having a conversation with you. It's just in as many people as possible, referring out again, and it just doesn't fucking work, man. Like we can't get referrals to the hospital where we work. You know, we then have to phone up the hospital we've been referred to because it's like no, this is how it works. We then have to phone up and get it transferred, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, you know.
Topper
Even
Runes just asked, is Graeme taking cocaine to lose weight?
fuck you, man. Why don't I get the chat? Why do I get the chat
Thank
like
you,
30
Nat.
seconds after you?
I'm just
Steve-
watching live chat. I've just got live chat on. That's
No,
all.
but it comes up. You've just said thank you, Nat. There's me. Now I can see it.
I don't know.
Why is it? Why am I always so much behind you?
I
It's
don't
just a chat
know.
box.
I don't know.
Um,
Because I'm not a fat communist.
Is that it? Just get it a little bit slower. But no, thank you, Nat. Do appreciate it. I really, really do.
There we go. Waving the gear. Waving the now missing trigger warning clacker.